What's up, everybody? Mark with Coffee&Toys here. It's Friday once again, and that means it is new comic book review day. And of course, on Fridays, we review the latest offerings from Image Comics, specifically around G.I. Joe. And this week, we have G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, issue 307. So let's get into it. But before we jump into today's review, let's talk about the coffee you're drinking. The coffee that you should be drinking and the coffee that I am drinking is from coffeebrandcoffee.com. That's right, Coffee Brand Coffee. No frills, no gimmicks, just great tasting coffee every single cup. I've actually got my 12-ounce Camper's mug today with a vacuum sealing top. And it has their double caffeinated roast in it. It's a light roast. It's very good. Obviously, double caffeinated just means I can be a little more jittery here in the mornings and a little more animated just for you guys and this review. But seriously, it's great tasting coffee. If you haven't checked them out yet, use the link in the description down below. They have flavored coffees, they have candies, they have nuts, they have gear. Save yourself 5% on your first order or your 10th order or your 25th order by using the promo Coffee&Toys. That's COFFEENTOYS, or use the link in the description down below. Now with that, it is June 2024 and issue 307 of Skybound Entertainment / Image Comics run of G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero is out on at comic book stores everywhere. Make sure you support local comic book shops, and let's jump into today's issue. Okay, with that, G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, issue 307 came out this month, June 2024, and is written by the amazing Larry Hama. Penciler is Paul Pelletier. Inker, Tony Cordos. Colorist, Francisco Segala. And letterer, Pat Brazu. So, with that being said, we kick off the issue with the Revanche-controlled stealth bomber. It is landing on Cobra Island and is greeted by Serpentor, Dr. Mindbender, and a few of his troops. A Revanche cyborg gets out of the plane, showing Serpentor the various technology making this stealth bomber nearly undetectable to radar, and also shows him modifications to the bomb bay, which now has, instead of bombs, large cylinders inside of it that looks like it could hold a person or persons. Pardon me. Now, with that being said, we switch back to a different spot on the island, and we have Helix, Molto, Muskrat, and Wetsuit on the island spying on Serpentor and the current plans, and they see this stealth bomber. Helix asks for Muskrat and Wetsuit to set up comms so that they can report back to Duke at the pit what they are seeing with this new stealth bomber. They do indeed make communication with Duke, saying, hey, here's what's going on. Stalker looks at Duke and says, they're not trying to make a play for the pit, right? I mean, if they drop bombs, it's just going to level the barracks and whatnot on the top level. We're too far down underground. And Duke says, no, they are going to make a play at Springfield and specifically Cobra Commander. Now, back on Cobra Island, a Televiper comes up to Serpentor Khan and says, hey, we just intercepted an encrypted transmission that is originating from the island that is not part of our transmissions. Serpentor Khan, realizing that it's not Cobra Commander, since they're in Springfield, says it must be G.I. Joe and sends pretty much everything but the kitchen sink across the island to find our Joe team. This is everything from hiss tanks to stingers to mambas to laser vipers to range vipers on ferrets. I mean, it's the whole kit and caboodle. Meanwhile, at the pit, Duke has the unfortunate news of telling Dawn that her parents were killed in Springfield by Cobra Commander's troops, based on information that Mainframe had actually given him earlier once they were trying to figure out if Serpentor Khan was making a play on Cobra Commander. So Dawn, obviously very upset. She's trying to be comforted by Duke and Psych Out, and she just isn't being comforted until Scarlet, Snake Eyes, and Storm Shadow show up. She immediately hugs Scarlet and says, oh my gosh, I'm now an orphan. What am I going to do? And Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow both respond that you are not an orphan. As long as you are Arashikage, you have family. From there, we jump to Springfield, and Cobra Commander is reading the Riot Act to his troops that killed Don Morano's parents, saying, "Why did you do that? Wasn't necessary. As a matter of fact, you ruined our only leverage we had on Dawn by killing her parents. And we could have used that because she's one of the toughest ninjas in G.I. Joe." And just as he's reading in the right eye, a Televiper comes up to Cobra Commander and says, "Hey, we just got surveillance that shows this stealth bomber on Cobra Island, and it looks like Serpentor's up to no good." And this actually makes Cobra Commander literally like gulp. He is nervous about what Serpentor Khan is planning. We turn our heads back to Cobra Island, and the four Joes are being pursued across the island by Serpentor Khan's forces, and they are essentially trapped deep into the jungle, but Helix manages to get one of the Laser Viper's backpacks and is now using it as a weapon against the various vehicles and cutting them down, and they manage to secure 2 ferrets and continue through the island. Now we switch our gaze towards Scotland, and we see that Destro, the Baroness, and Zartan are skeet shooting, and Baroness says, "Well, Zartan, why aren't you participating in this more?" And Zartan says something along the lines of, "Destro's too good, it's not even going to be a contest, so I'm not going to participate." And at the same time, an Iron Grenadier comes up to Destro and says, "My lord, I've got a message I need to tell you in private." And Destro says something along the lines of, "Well, go ahead and spit it out, it's fine with them around." And the IG is insistent that it be private, so Destro's like, "Okay." They walk off behind some vehicles, and Destro says to the Iron Grenadier, "What is so important that you cannot share it in front of the Baroness?" And the IG says, "It's not the Baroness I'm concerned about." And then before Destro's very eyes, the Iron Grenadier morphs into Zartan himself, and Zartan says, "The Zartan that's over there is not real, and I believe he is an upgraded battle android trooper with Revanche technology, and we need to figure out what's going on." Destro confirms this. If we remember from the last issue, he did already know that the Zartan, the faux Zartan, was indeed not the real Zartan, and they were going to try to play along with this charade to see if they could figure out what was going on. And while they're talking, Zartan says, "We should really form an alliance and try to figure out what's going on between Serpentor, G.I. Joe, and Cobra Commander." And Destro says, "Yes, let's talk about that." And finally, we return to Cobra Island with our G.I. Joe team, having made it all the way to the end of the beach. They had no choice but to turn around, head straight into the mouth of the lion, with all the Cobra troopers of Serpentor's heading straight at them. And as they are dealing with this, a Mamba flies overhead and drops out 2 advanced battle android troopers, the ones that have indeed been upgraded with Revanche technology. And these upgraded bats crash into the sand and then begin attacking the G.I. Joes on their ferrets, managing to make both ferrets flip. And we end the issue with the 2 upgraded battle android troopers standing over the incapacitated bodies of the 4 G.I. Joes. And that is the end of the issue, my friends. I enjoyed this issue because we're finally starting to get into that action. Now, I don't remember... I probably should have reread last issues before reading this one again, or reading 307. I don't remember where these advanced bats came from. They seem completely new to me, and like, I don't want to say Larry just pulled them out of nowhere, but we know how Larry writes. I just don't remember them from the last issue at all. And they're also dressed really weird. They're wearing like bow ties or something. They're strangely dressed, obviously very capable machines, so I'm intrigued on where we're going to go with this. Because previously we had talked about the Revanche making a play against Serpentor Khan and the whole, we're going to upgrade these zombie Cobra troopers with Revanche technology. So we were going that route, but now all of a sudden we have these super advanced battle android troopers. So I really don't know what's going on. My idea is that the stealth bomber they have with the pods is going to be full of advanced bats, and that they plan on making the play at Springfield. Didn't get a lot of Cobra Commander in this issue other than him realizing that Serpentor Khan does have this stealth bomber with some sort of capability. Unfortunate to find out that Dawn's parents really do seem to be dead. They seem to have pretty much confirmed that in this issue. Very interesting of Larry to have killed them off, but again, you know, things like that happen in the world of G.I. Joe. Larry's not one to shy away from killing people. So interested also in seeing where the Zartan and Faux Zartan go. As far as that, I believe the Faux Zartan must be a bat, or maybe isn't. I don't know. Like, we have these cyborgs that are the Revanche cyborgs, and then we have these advanced bats. What's the difference between them? I'm kind of having a hard time following that. So, leaving this issue with a few questions. Glad to see some action. The jungle fight scene between with Helix, Molto, Wetsuit, and Muskrat against all these Cobra forces was awesome. Great idea, having Helix take the Laser Viper's backpack and using it as a weapon. The mythos behind Helix is that she's a master at being able to figure out weapons very quickly. So very cool to see her actually use this weapon to the Joe team's advantage. I think that was probably the highlight of the issue, is actually that battle through the jungle. But yeah, leaves me wanting to see what next month's is going to be. Drop me a comment down below. Did you pick up issue 307 of A Real American Hero? What were your thoughts on it? What do you think of this review? And if you've made it this far, please like the video. It helps out a lot. Outside of that, just some quick housekeeping. I am going on vacation tomorrow, so I am very excited. Wrapped up work today, so very excited. That means there's probably not going to be any reviews or videos until I get back. I'm going to get back July, end of after 4th of July. I think July 5th or 6th sometime. So reviews will continue up there. Obviously, there will be no Marvel for Monday, no Marvel Monday, no reviews for action figures this weekend, although I will tell you that I did manage to pick up the 3-0 12-inch Cobra Commander and Destro regular edition, so I do have those coming up for review if you're interested in those. But yeah, I'm going to have a great vacation. I am going to miss the heck out of you guys and giving you these videos. This is a really fun thing. I enjoy hanging out with you guys. I hope you enjoy it as well. But with that being said, I'm Mark. You've been watching Coffee with Toys, and I'll see you later. Have a happy 4th.
Let's go.